Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue that will forever change how Port Charles remembers the nurses' ball. What began as a night filled with music, glamour, long-awaited reunions, and celebration has now transformed into a chilling murder investigation that has every attendee on edge. With Michael Corinthos and Liesl Obrecht making dramatic returns and tension still running high from recent betrayals and legal battles, no one expected the most shocking twist of the night to occur in one of the most private corners of the Metro Court ballroom, the women's restroom. The 2025 Nurses' Ball started as a dream. Michael's surprising reappearance, after months away recovering from life-threatening burns, brought tears to Carly's eyes and joy to many in Port Charles. Looking healthy and composed, Michael received a warm welcome from his family and friends, silencing any lingering doubts about his recovery. Jocelyn hugged her brother tightly, and Sunny, though guarded, offered a silent nod of pride. Adding to the excitement was the return of Liesl Obrecht. Known for her unpredictable energy and often eccentric presence, Liesl surprised everyone with her light-hearted attitude and contagious laughter. Dressed in a bold red gown and matching lipstick, she entertained with witty remarks, danced to several numbers, and injected the party with the kind of mischief and flair only she could bring. But all of the celebration came to a screeching halt when Brooke Lynn Quartermaine made a horrifying discovery. Shortly after stepping away from the main ballroom to freshen up, Brooke walked into the ladies' restroom and immediately screamed. What she found left her pale and visibly shaken. The lifeless body of a woman sprawled on the floor, her dress soaked in blood, her face barely recognizable from the violent trauma she had sustained. Security rushed in. Chaos erupted in the ballroom as word spread, guests whispered, panic set in, and the glittering elegance of the nurses' ball instantly shifted into a full-blown crime scene. The victim was soon identified, Jacinda Lee, a former exotic dancer known mostly for her brief romantic entanglement with Drew Cain. Though not a household name in Port Charles, Jacinda had quietly remained in the orbit of several prominent citizens. Her sudden and gruesome murder sent shockwaves through every guest in attendance. Detective Dante Falconeri arrived quickly and took charge. Detective Harrison Chase followed shortly after. Both men, though off-duty and dressed for the event, immediately transitioned into full professional mode. The bathroom was sealed, evidence marked, and every guest informed that no one was to leave the premises until questioning was completed. The initial clue that raised alarm was the murder's location. Jacinda had been found in the women's restroom, a detail that instantly narrowed down the suspect pool. While it's not impossible for a man to enter, it suggested the killer may have been female or someone who knew Jacinda would be there. This raised serious questions about motive, opportunity, and premeditation. As Dante began sorting through the guest list, the room buzzed with speculation. Given Jacinda's relatively limited social circle, few people in the ballroom openly admitted to knowing her. But one name immediately drew attention: Drew Cain. Drew's brief but scandalous history with Jacinda had made headlines years earlier when their one-night stand threatened to derail his budding political ambitions. Though Drew had publicly downplayed the incident and moved forward with his career, those close to him knew that Jacinda had occasionally resurfaced to remind the world of their past. Could Drew have wanted Jacinda silenced? Some whispered yes. He had much to lose, a political image to uphold, a custody battle with Michael heating up, and increasingly erratic behavior that had turned Willow against him in recent episodes. But others argued against it. Drew had been seen in the ballroom all night. He had made no suspicious movements. He even had public confrontations with Willow and Michael that placed him in the spotlight. Would he really risk everything, especially when he was already under public scrutiny? Still, Dante couldn't rule anything out. Not yet. What made the investigation even more difficult was the fact that nearly every prominent member of Port Charles had been present at the ball. This wasn't just a case with one or two suspects, it was a room full of potential suspects, each with secrets, motives, and buried emotions. Michael and Liesl, while considered long shots as suspects, were still questioned. Michael had just returned from Germany, and by all accounts had no history with Jacinda. Liesl, flamboyant and unpredictable, was ruled out due to a constant presence on the dance floor and several eyewitnesses who confirmed her whereabouts during the critical time window. But suspicion extended beyond Drew. Several of Port Charles's women became part of the investigation. Who would have reason to want Jacinda dead? Did someone feel threatened by her? Had an old affair, blackmail scheme, or vendetta resurfaced? Every moment was now being combed through. Every interaction, every brief glance, every guest who stepped away from the main event was being tracked and logged. Back in the ballroom, The mood was tense. No one danced. The music had stopped. Tables were half cleared, drinks untouched. Children had been sent home. The Metro Court was no longer a venue for charity. It was a lockdown zone. Meanwhile, Drew was called in for questioning by Dante and Chase. He didn't deny knowing Jacinda. He confirmed their past, but he firmly denied any recent contact or ongoing disputes. When asked if he had seen her that night, he looked stunned. He didn't even know she was there, but Dante wasn't ready to take anyone at their word. What raised more questions, however, was Drew's behavior in recent weeks. He had been growing increasingly controlling, not just with Willow, but in his legal maneuvers against Michael. He had manipulated events in Germany. He had orchestrated deception to isolate Willow. And now the presence of a woman from his scandalous past ends in bloodshed. It was too convenient to ignore. As hours passed and questioning continued, Lois and Brooke tried to keep their distance from the public eye. Brooke, who had found the body, was traumatized. Lois, whose family ties run deep in Port Charles, worked behind the scenes to gather more information and protect those she loved. Carly, meanwhile, was focused entirely on Michael, shielding him from public scrutiny and ensuring that no one attempted to tie his reappearance to the murder in any way. Sunny, though not directly involved, was watching, always watching. With tension mounting, Dante called for forensics to fast-track lab results. DNA, fingerprints, and surveillance footage from the Metro Court's many cameras were already being collected and reviewed. Security footage, however, revealed one interesting anomaly: a blind spot near the back entrance of the ladies' restroom, the very place where the killer may have entered or exited without detection. Who knew about that blind spot? And who used it? That question will soon lead the investigation in an unexpected direction. Meanwhile, whispers continued to swirl. Did Jacinda come to the nurses' ball of her own free will, or was she lured there? Did someone know she would attend? Had she come to make a scene, to blackmail Drew, or to reconnect with someone else? Was this murder premeditated, or a crime of passion? The answers remain elusive, but Dante and Chase are more determined than ever to solve the case. They know the longer it goes unsolved, the more fear will grip Port Charles. The 2025 Nurses' Ball, meant to be a night of healing, became a night of horror. A talented woman's life was cut short. A past mistake may have become a fatal secret, and the entire town now finds itself at the heart of a murder mystery that could expose lies far beyond one scandalous affair. Next, we will dive into the latest dramatic escapades surrounding the ever-controversial Tracy Quartermaine, who finds herself behind bars yet again. This marks her third arrest this year, and while Tracy is no stranger to trouble in Port Charles, this time the circumstances are particularly juicy. Rumors are swirling that her own nephew, Drew Cain, may have orchestrated this latest predicament as a form of cold, calculated revenge. Buckle up, because we're about to unpack a web of deceit, betrayal, and family feuds that could rival any Shakespearean tragedy, complete with hidden motives, shocking evidence, and potential career-ending scandals. Tracy Quartermaine's life has always been a roller coaster of high stakes and higher drama, but her most recent arrest has the town buzzing with speculation. This isn't just a case of Tracy being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sources close to the Quartermaine family hint at a sinister setup. Word on the street is that a stash of ketamine was discovered in Tracy's sleek, vintage convertible, a car she's famously protective of. The drugs, which she vehemently denies owning, were allegedly planted during a seemingly innocent visit to the Quartermaine estate. Tracy, with her sharp mind and sharper tongue, didn't take long to point the finger at someone who had both motive and opportunity. This arrest isn't just a legal battle, it's a personal vendetta that threatens to tear the already fractured Quartermaine family apart. As Tracy sits in a cold holding cell, one can only imagine the fury brewing in her mind as she plots her next move against the person she believes betrayed her. Enter Drew Cain, Tracy's nephew and the prime suspect in her eyes. Their relationship has been frosty at best, with Tracy often dishing out tough love or outright disdain toward Drew over the past year. From cutting him out of family business deals to publicly questioning his character, Tracy has made no secret of her lack of faith in him. Drew, however, sees himself as the wronged party, a man constantly underestimated and undermined by his ruthless aunt. When the chance to turn the tables presented itself, he allegedly seized it with both hands. Insiders suggest that during a recent boating excursion to the Quartermaine estate, a rare moment of access to Tracy's private property, Drew may have slipped the illicit substances into her car. The timing aligns perfectly. He was there, the car was unguarded, and the animosity between them provided the perfect motive. but Drew's actions, if true, are a dangerous gamble. Planting evidence is a crime in itself, and Tracy isn't the type to let such a betrayal slide without a fight. The question remains, did Drew really go to such lengths for revenge, or is there another player in this twisted game? While Drew might think he's outsmarted his aunt, there's more to this story than meets the eye. He's not just juggling his feud with Tracy, he's also entangled in a web of secrets involving other Port Charles residents. Drew is aware, for instance, that Portia Robinson was behind an incident where he was drugged, a piece of information he's been holding close to his chest. Reporting Portia to the authorities would be the logical step, but Drew isn't one to play by the rules. Instead, he's allegedly using this knowledge as leverage to manipulate Portia, keeping her under his thumb for future schemes. This calculated move shows just how far Drew is willing to go to protect his own interests, even if it means dabbling in blackmail. However, his multi-layered plots could backfire spectacularly. Tracy isn't his only adversary, and every secret he keeps is a potential landmine waiting to detonate. In Port Charles, alliances are fragile, and Drew's overconfidence might just be his Achilles heel. Meanwhile, Tracy and her son Ned Quartermaine are not sitting idly by as Drew plays his games. The mother-son duo has been quietly gathering ammunition for just such an occasion, and they're ready to strike back with a vengeance. Their ace in the hole? Damning evidence of Drew's personal indiscretions that could shatter his carefully curated public image. Whispers around town suggest that Tracy and Ned possess recordings that capture Drew in compromising situations, affairs that would not only tarnish his reputation, but also destroy relationships he holds dear. One such bombshell involves Drew's illicit romance with Nina Reeves, a liaison that, if exposed, would send shockwaves through the community. The fallout would be catastrophic, especially for Willow Tate Corinthos, who remains blissfully unaware of her husband's dalliance with her own mother. Tracy and Ned are reportedly debating whether to use this information to force Drew's hand, perhaps coercing him to clear Tracy's name, or to simply release the tapes and watch his world crumble. Either way, the power they hold over Drew is undeniable, and their next move could redefine family dynamics in Port Charles. The potential revelations don't stop at Drew's affair with Nina. There's talk of an even more scandalous recording, one that captures an intimate moment between Drew and Willow herself, allegedly occurring in the playroom on the night Drew's ex-wife, Sam McCall, tragically passed away. If this tape were to surface, the consequences would be devastating. Not only would it obliterate Drew's burgeoning political career, where he's been positioning himself as a man of integrity, but it would also devastate Willow's personal life, exposing her to public humiliation. For Tracy and Ned, this could be the ultimate checkmate, a way to eliminate Drew as a threat while simultaneously punishing Willow for her association with him. The collateral damage to Willow's relationship with her mother, Nina, seems to be of little concern to the Quartermaine schemers. Their focus is laser-sharp on revenge, and they appear willing to sacrifice anyone who stands in their way. The moral lines are blurred, and in this game of family warfare, no one is safe from the fallout. As the battle lines are drawn, the anticipation in Port Charles is palpable. Tracy and Ned are known for their ruthless tactics, and the prospect of them exacting revenge on Drew is a spectacle many are eager to witness. Whether they choose to negotiate with Drew, offering to bury the tapes in exchange for Tracy's freedom, or decide to go public with the recordings, their glee in orchestrating Drew's downfall is almost guaranteed. Imagining Drew's carefully constructed life unraveling before their eyes is likely the sweetest revenge they could hope for. And if Willow's world is shattered in the process, so be it. To Tracy and Ned, she's merely collateral damage in a war that's been brewing for far too long. The upcoming gala at the Quartermaine Mansion could serve as the perfect stage for their grand reveal, with glitter and champagne masking the undercurrent of betrayal. One thing is certain: when Tracy and Ned make their move, it will be a moment of triumph they'll savor for years to come, while Drew and those around him brace for the inevitable storm. In the end, this latest chapter in the Quartermaine saga is a stark reminder of the volatile nature of family in Port Charles. Tracy's arrest may be the catalyst, but the true story lies in the layers of deception, hidden agendas, and long-held grudges that define these characters. Will Drew manage to outmaneuver his aunt and cousin, or will Tracy's strategic mind prevail once again? Can Willow emerge unscathed from the potential revelations about her husband and mother? And how far will each player go to protect their secrets or expose those of their enemies? Next, we will explore the tantalizing possibility of a budding romance between two of Port Charles's most dedicated doctors, Portia Robinson and Isaiah Gannon. While the hospital corridors are often filled with life and death drama, a subtle undercurrent of personal intrigue is beginning to surface between these two medical professionals. Their paths haven't crossed much in the past, but recent events have sparked curiosity among fans about whether a new love story is on the horizon. With secrets, heartbreak, and shifting alliances at play, we're diving deep into the evolving dynamics at General Hospital, where professional courtesy might just blossom into something far more passionate. Until recently, Portia Robinson and Isaiah Gannon were merely colleagues navigating the high-pressure environment of General Hospital with little personal interaction. Portia, as co-chief of staff, has been preoccupied with administrative duties and her tumultuous personal life, while Isaiah, the charismatic newcomer, has been carving out his place among the staff with his undeniable charm. However, a pivotal moment during the Friday, May 16th episode changed the trajectory of their acquaintance. After a lively nurses' ball rehearsal with Willow Tate Corinthos, Isaiah found himself strolling past Portia's office during a rare quiet moment in his shift. What he stumbled upon was far from ordinary, a heated exchange between Portia and Ava Jerome. Through the slightly ajar door, Isaiah couldn't help but overhear Portia's frustrated outburst about the web of lies she spun to her husband, Curtis Ashford. Her voice carried a mix of guilt and desperation as Ava urged her to come clean, a plea that Portia sharply rebuffed. This accidental eavesdropping planted a seed of intrigue in Isaiah's mind, setting the stage for a connection neither of them anticipated. The hospital, always a hotbed for drama, suddenly became the backdrop for a potential shift in their relationship. The tension in Portia's marriage became even more apparent by the time the nurses' ball arrived, as depicted in the Tuesday, May 20th episode. Isaiah, still mulling over the snippet of conversation he'd overheard, couldn't ignore the palpable discord between Portia and Curtis during the glamorous event. Fans watched as Curtis, visibly frustrated, turned his back on Portia and stormed off mid-conversation, leaving her standing alone amidst the glittering crowd. Sensing her vulnerability, Isaiah didn't hesitate to step in. With a warm smile and a gentle demeanor, he approached her, offering a glass of champagne as a small gesture of comfort. More than that, he extended an empathetic ear, letting her know he was there if she needed to unburden herself. This small act of kindness could be the spark that ignites something deeper between them. Isaiah's genuine concern stood in stark contrast to the strained interactions Portia has endured with Curtis lately, hinting at a possible emotional refuge in this unexpected ally. Could this be the beginning of a supportive friendship, or something more intimate, unfolding under the chandeliers of the nurses' ball? Meanwhile, the cracks in Portia's marriage to Curtis are widening, and the secrets she's kept are threatening to shatter everything. Curtis, already aware of Drew Kane's manipulative blackmail over Portia, has grown increasingly disillusioned with his wife's lack of transparency. During the May 20th episode, he confided in his ex, Jordan Ashford, about his mounting frustrations, revealing just how deeply Portia's deceptions have wounded him. Curtis isn't one to let dishonesty slide, even with someone he loves. Fans recall how he eventually forgave Portia for hiding the truth about Trina Robinson's paternity for years, but that leniency seems to have reached its limit. With every passing day, Curtis appears to be inching closer to a confrontation that could spell the end of their union. Their once strong bond is fraying at the edges, especially as Curtis finds himself drawn back to Jordan, whose straightforward nature offers a refreshing contrast to Portia's evasiveness. As whispers of a looming breakup circulate, the question arises, could this marital discord create an opening for someone new to step into Portia's life, offering her the understanding and connection she so desperately needs? On the other side of this romantic puzzle is Isaiah Gannon, a doctor whose charm and flirtatious demeanor have already won over many in Port Charles. His brief fling with Jordan Ashford showed promise, but it was abruptly cut short due to her risky mission involving the dangerous Jen Sidwell. Now single and unattached, Isaiah finds himself at a crossroads, ready for a new chapter. His magnetic personality and effortless chemistry with various leading ladies on the canvas make him a prime candidate for a compelling storyline. General Hospital wouldn't dream of letting such a dynamic character languish without a significant arc, and pairing him with Portia could be just the ticket. Their shared profession offers common ground, late-night shifts, the stress of saving lives, and the quiet moments in break rooms could easily foster a deeper bond. Isaiah's playful yet sincere approach might be the perfect antidote to Portia's current turmoil, providing her with a fresh perspective and a chance to smile again. As Curtis gravitates toward Jordan, the show seems to be orchestrating a game of musical chairs among its supercouples, potentially aligning Isaiah with Portia in a surprising yet intriguing twist. The messy entanglement of Curtis and Portia's deteriorating relationship could serve as the ideal backdrop for Isaiah to become more than just a sympathetic colleague. Portia, A character who often walks a fine line between virtuous and questionable decisions might find in Isaiah a confidant who doesn't judge her past mistakes. Their interactions at the hospital could evolve from casual check-ins to meaningful conversations over coffee in the cafeteria, where personal stories are shared under the hum of fluorescent lights. Imagine Isaiah offering Portia a late-night ride home after a grueling double shift, the car ride filled with laughter and revelations that neither expected to share. These small, intimate moments could build the foundation for a romance that catches them both off guard. For fans, this would add a layer of complexity to Portia's arc. Can she find redemption and happiness with someone new, or will her unresolved issues with Curtis cast a shadow over any budding relationship? Isaiah, too, stands to gain from this storyline, as a romance with Portia would anchor him more deeply into the fabric of Port Charles's interconnected lives. As we look ahead, ABC General Hospital spoilers hint that the end of Portia's marriage might not be a conclusion, but rather a new beginning. With Isaiah stepping into the frame as a potential friend or more, Portia could be on the cusp of a fresh start. This complicated woman, who has made both commendable and controversial choices, deserves a storyline that explores her capacity for growth and love in unexpected places. Isaiah, with his knack for connecting with others, might just be the person to help her rediscover trust and joy. Their shared environment at the hospital offers endless opportunities for their paths to intersect, from collaborating on a high-stakes surgery to stealing quiet moments during chaotic days. Will their professional respect for one another blossom into a romantic spark that neither can deny? Or will the ghosts of Portia's past with Curtis prevent her from fully embracing a new connection? One thing is certain, the writers at General Hospital have a golden opportunity to weave an engaging narrative that keeps viewers hooked. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel as we follow every twist and turn in this potential love story. The landscape of relationships in Port Charles is ever shifting, and the possibility of Portia and Isaiah finding solace in each other amidst personal storms is a plotline brimming with potential. Will Curtis's confrontation with Portia push her into Isaiah's orbit for good? Can Isaiah's charm break through the walls Portia has built around her heart? And how will the other players, Curtis, Jordan, and even Drew Kane, react to this unexpected pairing? The drama is heating up, and we're here for every heartfelt glance and whispered secret that could redefine romance at General Hospital. Keep watching, because in this town, love is never straightforward, but it's always worth the wait.